So let's get to srefs. We spent as much time working on this style transfer system as we dedicated to the foundation model itself. The way how it works is you can pass an image into this system, and the system is going to extract all the stylistic components in that image, and it's going to be able to transfer them into your output. Let's say that from all the generations that I did before, I really like the style on this one. What I can do is to drag and drop it into the prompt box in the area where it says add as a style transfer. I can type a different prompt, let's say a horse galloping in the field. I click generate. And what this system should be able to do is to extract all the stylistic components on this image and apply it to the prompt that I set here. In this case, a horse galloping in the field. One of the cool things that you can do with this is to set the strength of the style. The strength is going to regulate how much influence is the style going to have in the output image. Right now it's at 50%. So if I bring it down to say 20%, what I should see is a way less stylized version of that image, which, as you can see here, it's kind of getting the fact that it's a painting, it's getting some of the colors, but it's making it much more realistic, which is where the base model is probably trying to take it when you input this prompt. So what you can see is that it still gets some of the style. Like in some of them, it looks like it's still a painting, and the colors are definitely there, but it looks way more like a photography than if I tune it to something like an 80%, where what I should see is that it's again like a full painting with those same colors and those same brush strokes. And here, as you can see, it even broke the image a little bit by trying too hard to transfer the color of the bike into the horse. And the model is kind of like trying to find places where to put this color in the image. At some points, like even like trying to paint the color of the horse. And of course, you can also bring your own images. In this case, I already have some of them saved that I used in the past. So let's try with this different type of illustration, and you see how it gets the vibe of it. But now let's try to combine it with a different style. So I'm gonna choose this other image of a knight that looks darker and it has like some sort of highlights on the armor. Let me put the style of the knight to 70%. And let's keep the one from the illustration at 50% to see what happens. And here's the point where this starts getting interesting. As you can see here, there's the stylistic components from both images. On the one side, you can see how the clear colors of that night image, like the darkness of it, and like it even like made the horse to be chromed, are preserved. But at the same time, you can see how there's some of these aberrations that they were present on the other illustration also clearly visible in here and on the rest of the images. Now let's try to make the illustration to go up to, let's say, 75%, and to keep the night, let's say, 57%. So now I would expect something that looks more like the illustration, but still keeping some of the components on the night image. So here you can see way more of these artifacts that definitely come from the illustration. And you can see how instead of having the whole horse being chrome, now only certain parts of the horse are made of chrome, kind of representing how the influence from the illustration is much higher than the one from the knight. You can combine up to 4 different style references. Let's make one more test trying to combine, let's go with this kind of line illustration here to see what happens. Let's put the line illustration all the way up to 80%. I'm going to keep the illustration to 60, and I'm going to keep the knight to 44. And let's see what it does with this. And this is by far my favorite way of using Krea. Just like seeing how it can creatively get different parts of each style and render it in images like this. It's what can really give you inspiration, and what really feels like touching knobs in a creative tool that you can control from a visual way and not that much with a prompt. If you see, like, I didn't even touch a prompt in this whole process. I was just like playing with the styles and like the different influence that I wanted each style to happen. And here again, you can see how there's a clear line from the illustration, how there's like some realism on the background that probably comes from the night, and how you can still see all these sort of like color aberrations that come from that initial illustration that we were playing with.